Okay, well, today, thank you for coming by here and sharing my video with me here. But today I would like to show you how to create a green screen effect without using any expensive lighting. Now let me just show you something. Typically when I use a standard green screen setup, I use two big box lights like this. Two-pack of these lights would run $80 to $150 on Amazon. And I also use two LED light panels. Those could run close to $200 on Amazon for a two-pack of those. So just kind of keep that in mind. I want to show you how to do it without any of this expensive lighting. So to begin with, here's a sci-fi little clip that I've got, and I did some green screen work standing in front of a green screen with me talking, and that's how I achieved that. Sometimes if you're doing maybe an instructional video, you're showing somebody how to do something like I am here, you could stand in front of a green screen and superimpose your image over the front of that. Now right here, of course, with green screen work, you can do just a stand-up type thing and superimpose your image over any image you'd like, any static image. It's just a screen, not a screenshot. It's a background image that I bought online. Now, one thing before I just want to show you this because I think it's kind of interesting. Right here, you may notice that I've got a green MSU, Michigan State University. That's where I went to college. And that's green. That lettering is green. Now, typically with green screen work, if you have any kind of green on a hat, on jewelry, on your clothing, that will become transparent, and it would look like I had holes in my shirt every place there was green. So just so you know, if you ever run into something like that, you can also use a blue screen, and sometimes people do that. Yeah, you can do that and use exactly the same process that I show you here. Okay, well, let's talk about your green screen just for a minute here. If you already have one, great, you're good to go. If you don't, you can buy some material like this on Amazon. It's it runs about $20 or so. The only reason I don't use this is these are almost always cotton wrinkles, and I don't want to be ironing a big sheet of fabric every time I want to use it. So yeah, I don't use that. But you could. That could be an option. Here's another option. If you're just starting out, this would be nice. It costs a little bit more money, but it's a green screen. On the other side, it's blue. And I'll show you in a minute why you might want to use a blue rather than a green screen to achieve this effect. But that might be another option for you to consider. Now, what I did for my green screen is I went to a Joann fabric store. Okay, they're franchises, they're all over the country, but any fabric store would work. And I went in and I looked around for a little bit. And this is one thing that I found in there. I don't use this, although it could work really well. It's just cotton material in all different colors. It's pure cotton, 100% cotton. It's only $6.99 a yard, and that's the catalog or item number of it. But you could find material like this. Actually, any one of those three greens would probably work well. The only reason I don't use this is it's cotton wrinkles. And if you put this up and take it down, you're going to have to iron it from time to time, and I hate ironing. You'd also need some kind of stand you can buy on Amazon to spread fabric out for green screen work. Now, one thing to remember is if you end up with this option where you go to a fabric store, fabric that's sold on bolts, on those cardboard rectangular jobbies, they will typically, they could be 36 inches wide, they could be 40 inches wide, they could be different widths. And when you look at that, for example, if you pick out a bolt and it's 36 inches wide on the bolt, material on bolts is always, almost always, I'm going to say always, doubled over lengthwise. So actually, fabric like this, when it's unfolded, would be 72 inches wide. So in this case, 1 yard of a fabric like this would unfold. It would be 1 yard, one running yard long, and it would be twice 36 because it's folded over. So it would be 1 yard by 72 inches. So just keep that in mind when you, but always ask the person working at the desk before they cut it. Make sure you're getting the dimensions that you want. Okay? Now, what I found was material that looked like this, and this is part rayon and part spandex. It's stretchy, and that's good because For one thing, it never wrinkles. It just never wrinkles, okay? So even if you had a little wrinkle, you can stretch it a little bit, tape it on a wall, fix it on a wall, get a stand for it, whatever. And you will never have any wrinkles with this, okay? And you can see right here, I keep this stored in a plastic food storage bag. And you know, it can be wadded up and taken out and you won't have any wrinkles on it. So that's really good. And you can see right here that it has a little bit of stretch to it, which I also like, okay? Now, the lady that was working at the cutting counter in there, they no longer carry this, at least at my Joann Fabric store. They don't carry this anymore, but you can order it from their website. And she looked it up for me. This is a little more expensive. It's $16 a yard, but it was on sale for $11.89. And a lot of fabrics, if you look carefully at the price tags, will be on sale. And this was then only $11 a yard. It's nylon. I said Orlon. It's nylon spandex fiber. And you can order that online and have it delivered to your home. Okay? So basically, if you use this type of fabric, you'll find that when you light this using the lighting system I show you, you won't have any hot spots on your green screen. In other words, you won't have any light areas and dark areas from using bright studio type lights. You won't have any shadows, and you'll get a nice continuous color shade from your green screen. So that's good. Now, just so you know, typically, and this is not how we're going to light this, but typically when I do green screen work, I mount the screen on my wall, not taping it, but I have a way to mount it. And I use two big box lights, which shine in on the green screen behind wherever I'm standing, and they provide a nice bright light on the green screen behind me. And I use two LED lights out in front of me to light my face, my body, and they also help prevent shadows on the green screen behind me, okay? Now, this is just an example. When I do real green screen work, I use the two big box light sets. They each hold 5 lights. I just put 4 lights in them. That's enough. Something like that could run $80 to $150 for a set of 2. My LED panel lights, they run about $180 for a set of 2. So you can see you could be up to $200 or $300 to buy some real lighting to do green screen work. And I'm trying to save you money today so you don't have to buy any big studio lights like that or anything. So what I did, and in today's sample videos that I show you, I went to a Meijer store. Here in the Midwest, there are a lot of Meijer stores, but it doesn't have to be Meijer. It could be any hardware store, a Costco, you know, Menards or Lowe's would have lights like this. And so what I'm using today is just some LED lights. Very inexpensive. They were $9.99 at Meijer's, and they were on sale for $5.99 for a 4-pack. They're a soft white color. You could get some that don't say soft white, that just say white. The things to look at, one, you don't care what the wattage is. That makes no difference. That's the energy usage. That's not a measure of how bright they are or anything. The 2700K, K stands for Kelvin. It's a temperature scale. The bigger that number is, the brighter white the light is. Anything below 2700 is probably going to be a little bit too yellowish for you to use. And you could go up to, if you find some that go up to, say, 5000K, you know, that could work. I wouldn't get anything much brighter white than, you know, 5000. It might work, but it might be a little overkill for you. The big thing is the lumens, and these lights are rated at 800 lumens. If you go to 5000K lights, the lumens may go up to 840. The lumens are a measure of the intensity of the light. The higher the lumen rating, the more intense the light will be. 800 would work. That's what I'm using today, is these. And they don't have to be Meijer brand. They could be any brand, but, you know, LED lights, yeah, they can work really well. Okay? And then right here, today, this is in my spare bedroom office that I use at home. There's a ceiling fixture on top. The only lights I have on in the room, I have some other lights, but I'm not turning them on because that conflagrates the simple setup. I just have two of these LED lights fixed on the ceiling. I didn't put the light cover on underneath. And those are the only two lights on in the room, and they give me enough light to do this. The key to using this method that I'm showing you is to use subdued lighting so that you don't get a lot of shadows on the green screen behind you. Okay, so that's about the lighting. Now let's talk about what we need to do to bring this whole green screen thing together. Okay? Okay, well, what I'd like to do to finish up here is to show you exactly how you can take a green screen recording that you've made using the lighting that I suggest, and you've got a green screen or you can get one, and what you have to do to make the whole thing work. So what I have here, this is just a recording I did in front of, let me move this down a little bit, in front of my green screen. You can see that I've just taped my green screen up on the wall like I showed you before. I'm standing there talking. Okay, so I've got a short little clip of me talking there. Clashing Black, that's one of my favorite bands that my girlfriend and I always go and watch whenever they're in town, around town. So anyway, and then this clip is that sci-fi, future city type sci-fi clip that I've got. And I just want to show you right now, let me go back a little bit here. If I move this down and we come back here, you can see that all I see is the green screen video because this is down below that green screen video. And I'll show you what happens in just a second once we edit this all together. So let me move these over a little bit so we can see these. And what I'll do is click on my green screen video right here. And before I apply a chroma effect to this and remove all the green and everything, there are a couple things I want to do. I'm going to have to squeeze this down just a little bit. I'm going to push Control, the Control key on my Mac, and then grab one of the handlebars on the side here and drag this in. That's how you crop things in ScreenFlow. And I'll drag this in, and all that does is it eliminates all that background stuff, the crummy looking tape on the walls and everything. So there, now I've got a green screen. So what I'll do now is I can blow this up a little bit now so we can see it a little bit better, like that. And I think what I'll do first is I'll come in here, make sure this is highlighted, and then come down to color controls. And you'll see that there's saturation, brightness, and contrast. I've got a little too much saturation in there, so I'm going to come down and we'll make it, doesn't matter, like 67%. That takes some of the saturation out. I like that a little bit better. And the brightness, I'm going to take that down just a little bit, maybe something like that. And then for the contrast, I want a little bit more contrast in there. Now, I can't tell you exactly, you know, what values to set these on. It depends on, you know, how bright your green screen is and how much light you've got in there and ambient light in the room and so on and so forth, the color of your clothing, all that. Just play around, get it so you think it looks halfway decent right there. And then I will come down here. I'll make sure that I've got this highlighted again. And I'll come down here to Video Filters right here. And I'll click on that. And let's see, let me do a couple things. Let me go to Color Adjustment where it says Gamma Adjust. And I'll add that. That's sort of like the, it's a light and darkness type adjustment. And I'm going to just tweak this up a little bit. That makes everything a little bit darker. And I'll add another one, Color Adjustment. Let's go down to Hue Adjust. And the lighting in there and the colors and everything makes my skin look a little red, too red. So what I'll do is, with this, you can see if I move this to the right, everything gets more reddish. If I move it this way, it gets more kind of greenish color, so I don't want to go that much, but maybe like 14%. That's a more realistic look of that. And yeah, so finally, the next thing we want to do is I'll come down here, add one more video filter, and I'll click on this chroma key right up on top. Now, to make this show up a little bit better, because I've got a white background, when I opened this up, and I'm going to change, this doesn't change anything on me, but I'm going to make the background black, and then we'll get a little more contrast so we can see what's happening a little bit better, I think. So I'll click on the OK button, so right there, and I'll get rid of that color picker. And then after I do that, you can click on the chroma on the color there, and you can play around with this, and you just have to find where you get the best color in there, and I think that probably someplace right around there, that looks pretty good. So you have to play around with that and try to get everything to go away except yourself, okay? And then these three things, like the white clip, you can adjust this. You can see what happens if you play with this too much, but you know, maybe right about there. Okay, I've taken the fuzz and stuff out of there. And then the tolerance, you can increase the tolerance or decrease the tolerance. You can see what happens there, but we'll leave it right about there at 18. And then the angle, again, you can see what happens with that. I want to have it all black in the background, just like I see there. We'll leave it right there at about 72. And I think that'll work. Okay? So now what I'll do is let me get this refine key out of there. And now you can see it's just me. I've taken all the green screen and all that stuff out of there. So now let's just take a look at this. And let me take this clip. Remember, this is the clip of the flying saucers or whatever in the future video, all that. Now I'm going to drag this underneath my green screen right there. And now let's come up and look what's happened. Okay, now I'm standing in front of that, and probably if I was really doing something with this, you know, I would probably squeeze myself down so that I could put myself down in the corner, you know, something like that, and then play this, and you can see what it looks like. And if I blow this up a little bit, just show myself in there, a little bit more of Mike, which may not be a good thing, but you know, you can see what's going on there. And I'll take this back down so it looks like that, and come back any place and play it. And that's what we end up with. Okay, so that is, once you get your green screen video shot, and you've got any kind of background, it can be a video background like I've got, it could be just a design background, it could be an outdoor background, make it look like you're standing on a beach, or you know, whatever you want it to be. If you're doing a screen recording, a screencast, you could show your computer screen on the back, make like a screencast, and you know, whatever you want to do. Okay, well, I hope you enjoyed this. I hope you got something out of it, and you know, give it a try. Okay, good luck, best wishes. As always, my very best wishes for tremendous success with all you do on YouTube. Okay, you guys are all great. I love you all, and just if you have any questions, don't be afraid to ask. Okay, take care.